Awesome. Okay. It's telling me we're live, so we're live. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. This is a Monday. Today's a Monday, and it's the start of the week. We are kicking off this week with Entri, one of our sponsors. We're going to be talking about domain expertise. A little play on words there. We have a lot of us on the call here, so I'm going to introduce myself, then I'll kick it over and just share who's all joining us today. My name's Kate. I'm on the marketing team at Bolt. I'm running some of these live streams, so you may have seen me before, but if not, it's nice to see you all. Brian, why don't you go next?
Yeah. Brian Douglas here, and happy to be here with the Bolt Hackathon crew, as well as with Entri. My day job is actually at the start of today, head of developer experience at continue.dev. So really looking forward to chatting with folks outside of the space about how to use AI coding assistants. But here to sort of chat with Abe, who's from Entri. And Abe, did you want to say hello?
Thanks, Brian. Hey, everyone. My name is Abe. I'm the founder and CEO at Entri. Super excited to be here with you all today, talk about Bolt, talk about domains, and show you all in real time how you can use Entri with Bolt.
Mo?
Yeah, hey everyone, I'm Mohammed. I'm here for the technical questions from the Bolt side. Happy to be here.
Awesome. And speaking of questions, so we have a chat going. Our most active chat is YouTube. Just FYI, we're bolt.new, spelled dot, on YouTube. But we'll be checking all chats. So just throw your questions in the chat. We'll be answering them as we go. Yeah, Abe, you want to kick us off?
Absolutely. I've got a few slides for everyone, but don't worry. This won't be a boring presentation. It will be interactive and fun. And don't be shy. Chime in with questions and comments in the chat as we go through things. So today we're going to talk about domains, and shout out to Kate for a lovely pun, domain expertise. And we're going to talk about how you can use Entri to get a free domain that you can use for your Bolt Hackathon project, or how you can connect your existing domain to a Bolt project. So first and foremost, as part of the Bolt Hackathon, you are eligible for a free domain and also for a handful of domains that are at an incredible discount. We'll go over what domains you're eligible for and what those discounts are in just a moment. But for now, I want to walk you through how do you publish, or rather, how do you claim a new domain for your Bolt project? First things first, build something magical in Bolt. I'm sure you all are already doing that, but that's the most important thing. Before you even think about a domain, think about what is it you're going to build, why it matters, and why you're excited about it. I will share my screen to a new tab now and dive into something I've been working on called A to Zebras, which is a fun little site about the world of zebras and some facts about zebras. It's a bit of a pun. I guess both Kate and I were in punny moods today, making jokes left and right. And I've got my Bolt editor up, and I have hit deploy. Now, one thing I'll highlight quickly is make sure you have connected your Bolt account already to Netlify. That's a requirement. You need to do that first. Once you've done that, you can hit deploy. And Bolt will work its magic. And your site will get deployed to Netlify. Now, using Entri, you can automatically connect that to a domain. So I'm going to go ahead and hit setup domain here.
In question, when after you deploy, do you automatically get that sort of setup domain response? Is that already built in?
You do, and that is thanks to the lovely dev team, in particular Mo on this call, who's built that in. One other thing I'll highlight, make sure you are using your Bolt account that is connected to the hackathon, right? So as part of the hackathon, you probably got a like a coupon code to activate your Bolt Pro subscription. You need to be using that Bolt account in order to see this feature and in order to get access to these free or discounted domains. So I hit that set up domain button, and we have two links here. The first is for purchasing or claiming a new domain, and then the second is for connecting your project to an existing domain if you already own one. Some of you might have already bought a domain that you've been holding on to and you want to publish your Bolt project to. Awesome. We're going to cover that in just a moment. But for now, we're going to focus on purchasing a new domain. So you'll click this link here, and that will open a new tab where you can begin your domain search process. We're going to pause here, and we're going to take a moment to talk about what is a good domain. How do you come up with a domain that is going to stand out, but also going to last a long time as your brand and your business evolves? So, some tips for choosing a great domain name. Keep it short and simple. Less is more when it comes to life, but also when it comes to domains. Secondly, get creative with new domain endings. There are so many incredible new domain endings. .online, .store, .xyz, .app, .new, right? And generally speaking, you're going to see more keywords and more domains available with those newer TLDs. And when I say TLDs, that's just a fancy way of calling the domain extension. Third, check for confusion. Say it out loud, right? Maybe share it with a few friends. Do they understand it when you read it? Do they understand what you're trying to communicate from the domain? And then as a general rule of thumb, avoid hyphens or numbers. In particular, numbers can be confusing because if I told you to go to 88.com, well, is it 88, right? Am I typing 88 or am I writing it out? And so I think a general rule of thumb with domains is try to avoid both numbers and hyphens. And then last but not least, future-proof it. I think this is probably the most important one and one of the trickier ones. Hopefully with your hackathon project, you're not just building a hackathon project. You're building a business, and businesses evolve. You might start by selling, pens and pencils, and then expand to tables. And obviously that's a simple example, but just to use a more relevant example, Bolt, right? Bolt didn't register bolttexteditor.com. They have bolt.new, which is such a better domain for a handful of reasons. But one in particular is it allows for the Bolt ecosystem to grow and their name to stay relevant. So when you're coming up with domain names, try to think, hey, am I still going to be able to use this 2 years from now or 5 years from now? All right, so let's get back then to registering a domain name for my A to Zebras project. Anyone in the chat have a?
Yeah, I was gonna say maybe the chat wants to drop in so like Zebrapedia or whatever you'd describe this this project. Also, what's the fascination with zebras?
No, I no good answer to that. I've been on like a random animal kind of research thing where I've been like looking at different animals online and random facts, and I was like, why don't we build like a site that just lists out all the random facts about zebras? So I wish I had a better answer for you.
Yeah, and would it be appropriate for us to say that we're also talking about zebras as well?
Mm-hmm. Yes, absolutely.
And it's an international hackathon, so I wasn't sure if people were getting the correlation yet.
Zeba, nice. I like that. I see some Zebraverse. That's awesome.
Oh, Zebraverse actually sounds even better.
Zebraverse is even better. Let's give folks a few more moments if they come up with anything.
And I was going to ask if Zebra.pizza is .pizza TLD that would be available in this?
Dot Pizza is a TLD.
Excellent.
There are so many TLDs. Like I think people forget. I live in New York. There's .nyc, but there's also a lot of cities have TLDs as well. There's .app, .cloud, .dev, Stripes and Facts. I like that. ZBolt. There's so many good names. I want to buy all of them now.
The Zebro is the best one, by the way.
Zebra.
Yeah, I could see an expansion from just sort of Zebra Facts to then like maybe Zebra Buddy. You could have different offshoots of applications that roll up into this, sort of like a what Google started with search. Now they do a bunch of other stuff like train models. So yeah, expansive.
Zebroni. I like that as like a like a bit of an insult. Like Brian, if I call you a zebroni, just like throwing.
It could be just a secret club that we're in.
Exactly.
That only me and you know about. Zebronis know all the facts about zebras.
Wow, we're getting so many. I think we'll have to choose one.
These comments are so good. I feel like we don't need AI anymore. I just need the internet to come up with ideas on my behalf.
I think that's actually how one company raised $1 billion is having a chat that's ready to go, pretending as it was AI. Just a bunch of builders.
Right. Let's go with what do we think? Do we do ZBolt, Zebrathon, or Zebraverse?
That's a good question. Like Zebroni is so unique that I think you could probably get like zebroni.info pretty easily.
I actually like the idea of doing something with XYZ as well.
Okay.
Because
yeah. It goes right to the end.
Like A to Z. I don't know. Maybe that's just me, but online. All right, let's try searching for zebraverse.xyz. Taken. Did someone on this chat take it?
We weren't fast enough.
We'd have to contact the broker in chat to basically ask if someone can sell it to us.
Exactly. Here we go. zbolt.online. It is free to claim. Go ahead and add that to cart. Now, if you want, you can get an email with your domain. Again, I think the goal from the Bolt Hackathon and what makes it so special to me, at least, is it's not just building projects, it's building businesses. And obviously one of the ways to stand out with a business and to communicate as a business is through email. And doing that from a custom email with your custom domain just shouts, I'm professional, versus, zebra123@yahoo.com. That might be a fun email, but if you're building a business, it's probably not where you want to send emails from. So you can get an email with your domain. You can choose from a handful of options here, or you can just get the domain for now. And this free private registration is awesome. If you want to make sure your information is hidden from folks who can reverse look up who the owner of the domain is, make sure you click this box.
That's a pretty nifty feature because I've been buying domains since college, and I still have my college address because I'm like, I don't want people to walk up on me and be like, hey, that domain you bought 20 years ago. College was not 20 years ago, but for me it was 19. But yeah, don't want to dox my age.
Speaking of doxing all my info, I won't fill this out for everyone to see here. Otherwise, maybe I'll get some zebras delivered to me in the mail.
Zebra pizzas.
I'll just pull that down while you fill that out, Abe.
No, that's all right. Maybe this is also a good moment to talk about what are the different TLDs that have different pricing options for hackathon participants. In this example, right, it was it was $0 for the first year, so free for 1 year, which is awesome. Some of the other domain endings have different pricing options. Let me share that with you all. So to be clear, there are more than just these available to purchase, but we wanted to highlight some of the special pricing that we've been able to get for hackathon participants. .site, .online, .store, .me, .xyz, and .eu for EU users only are free. Again, free for the first year. That's incredible. A lot of these are typically like 30, 40 bucks. So this is a ton of value for all the hackathon participants. And it's our way of saying thank you. Like, thank you for building. Thank you for taking the time to think about what you want to build on Bolt and taking it seriously. I think getting a domain is often also a step to show that your project is going from a project to something real. So these are all free, free for all users that are participating in the hackathon. And then we've got a handful of other domains, TLDs rather, that are heavily discounted. .com for $5. I believe .net and .org are also on the $5 mark. So substantial discounts for those, as well as .io, .app, and .cloud, which are more dev focused. And then, of course, .ai. .ai is 50% off, which is a TLD that I think is just obviously blowing up right now for all the obvious reasons. And then same for .dev. So feel free to browse around, think about what extensions make the most sense for your business and your project.
Yeah, so the question that's up here is like, what's the pricing after the first year is over for some of these free domains?
Yep, great question. The pricing is whatever the standard pricing is on the Ionos store. Ionos is the registrar that Entri has partnered with for this. So for .com, I believe it is $19. For like a .online or .store, it depends on which one you choose, but those range from anywhere from $20 to $40. .org and .net are also on the $20 range. I see a comment as well. People are seeing, you may see a temporary charge, like a hold. That's just a verification to make sure you're entering real information.
Let's see, we had a couple other questions I'm going to go through. Let's see. How to connect Netlify with Entri.
We're going to cover that on this presentation for sure. We can dive into that now or in a bit, whatever you think makes the most sense.
Yeah, that might make sense. There are a few Netlify questions earlier as well, because I think Bolt's been connected to Netlify for quite some time now. So folks have a lot of familiarity with that. So we can make that assumption with this audience. But folks, if you have more questions, just drop them as we find time, we'll answer them.
Awesome. And then before we jump to that, I just want to highlight there is a custom challenge in the hackathon for the most creative domain. So don't forget that. And when you submit your project, make sure you click on that challenge and provide the domain you registered, because there is a custom prize for that. All right. So publishing to an existing domain name. In other words, how do you connect, right, like your domain that you might already own to Bolt and to Netlify? We're going to walk through that right now. So first, obviously, again, build something magical in Bolt. Make sure you have connected your Bolt account to Netlify, and then hit the deploy button. And we'll share our screen again. All right. So here I am again on A to Zebras. And let's imagine I already own a domain and I need to get that set up to work beautifully with Netlify and with Bolt. I would click this second URL here, which is if you already own a domain, you can connect it to your generated Bolt app. So you go ahead and click that. And this launches a new tab where you can use Entri and input the domain that you already own. In this case, I own a to zebras.xyz. If I wanted to publish this to a custom a subdomain, I could type in here maybe zebras.xyz menu.myrestaurant, right? You can do that as well. For now, though, I'm okay publishing this to the primary domain. So I'll hit continue. And Entri will actually automatically automatically detect who your provider is. Entri detects over 50 providers. On average, that's over 80% of all domains on the web. In this case, we detected, hey, this domain was registered at Cloudflare. And so it's asking me to authenticate with Cloudflare. So you'd go ahead and hit authenticate. I will share this as well. And here you can see it's just confirming, are you okay adding these records? If you're not super technical, don't worry. Just double check that this is what you want to do and hit authorize.
I was going to say that's a really cool feature to sort of detect where your domain's been registered at. Funny story, I was actually an employee at Netlify years ago, and I built the domain feature. And that would have been a really nice feature to have a Netlify back in the day.
Let's talk, Brian. Maybe the Netlify team wants to adopt Entri. I mean, for context, right? Like Entri's bread and butter is making DNS easy. I'm a pretty technical guy, and I can't stand DNS, and so I can't imagine, my mom setting up like a store to sell granola online and having to figure out what CNAME do I add, what A record do I remove. And we make this super simple. And again, I just happen to run this demo on Cloudflare, but this works the same way on 50 different providers. No matter where you got your domain, Entri will make it really, really easy to publish and set up.
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, because what I love about this hackathon is like this kind of really unleashes a lot of builders to build the things they've been wanting to build for a long time. You got the month of June to try the idea, grab a domain for free, finally get the thing out in the open, and it also gets a bunch of support from all the tools and sponsors like Entri. So yeah, super helpful with this.
Any questions or remaining questions on the publishing process or kind of the Netlify Entri Bolt integration process?
It looks like we have a question here, just like what's the difference between the two?
Yeah, different things. Netlify is awesome. Entri is by no means a replacement for Netlify. Netlify is a server and hosting infrastructure tool. What Entri does is just make it easy for you to have your domain set up in order to work with Netlify or work with Bolt. So they're different tools, but they play nicely together.
Yeah, and I think I already pointed out that Netlify, the sort of guessing your domain registrar. I've actually just set up a Netlify site as of recent, and I know that's not a feature that's already enabled. So more than happy to connect after this, Abe, and connect you to the Netlify team, who I also know are also involved in the hackathon as well. So yeah, you guys should chat.
I love that.
How are you going to process 60,000 domain submissions?
So
easy.
I would hopefully we hit 60,000. So the first step is build, but I think we'll have a little bit of help and a little bit of extra hands.
Okay, sorry. Let's see. We got some more questions coming in. This one, does Entri support hooking up more than one domain to a project?
So you can definitely use Entri to publish to multiple domains. When you say more than one domain to a project, do you mean like publishing your Bolt project to be live on multiple domains? Is that the question? If it is, then yes. You would just make sure, right, that domain that you go through the Entri setup process twice, and that will basically have each domain pointed to your Netlify DNS, and both of those will then load.
Yeah, and I believe I think you answered that correctly. The next one's the wildcard subdomains. I think you showed that briefly on how to do a subdomain. And then wildcards, I know Netlify has like branch support. So if you had like a testing branch, like if you had that happen to integration with GitHub, you got a branch that you're working on, you want that other domain. I imagine as long as you have the domain and you connect that to Netlify, you could also have the same sort of branch deploy experience that Netlify has. Amazing. Sorry, I might have just answered that question. I was asking a question, but I was answering out loud that yes, as long as you're connected to Netlify and your domain's connected to Netlify, all Netlify features should work with your domain as well.
Exactly. Yep.
Amazing. Question about the App Store.
I think this question is more related to the Expo integration, the like native mobile applications. Not yet. Like we have a button for it, but it would lead you to a tutorial that enables you to do so. But I think in the future we might get a cache on this and handle it. I mean, we experimented with it, but the team is doing so many stuff at this point. Yeah.
What, you can't ship faster, Mohammed?
That's the hardest thing to do. So
let's ship it live right now. Awesome. Okay, so I have a question about the hackathon stuff. Yeah, if you have questions about the hackathon specifically, too, throw them in here. Community mentors. Yes. So we may need more community mentors soon. So stay tuned. Thanks for your patience on that. We will be reaching out to folks soon if we need more mentors there. Let's see. What else we got? Oh, this one happened a little bit. When was the feature enabled? And I think the feature was referring to the chat, Mo, when you put in the domain and then it has that like kind of auto chat. When did we enable that?
Do you mean the setup domain button?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I don't know. I think we enabled it like 2-3 days ago, something like that.
I think it was Friday.
There we go. So if you haven't checked your chat since Friday, it's there now. Awesome. Okay, and I'm seeing some questions about the builder pack. Yeah, those will be going out 48 hours. Keep an eye on your email 48 hours after you register. And let's see. Okay, we're getting some more questions in here. Oh, another question about mobile. Yeah, Play Store. A lot of questions about mobile. Let's see.
These are serious builders. People want to get stuff into production.
Yeah, totally.
Domain check. Let's move on to the next stream.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Awesome. Okay, well, thank you so much. Let's see, is there anything else we wanted to cover here, crew? I'm going to actually send some links here in the chat, and it's I saw some folks asking about how to register. So if you have not registered yet, you can do so here. Also, the hackathon rules. Also where to follow us on social, and also our Discord. So sorry, this sounds like so ugly in the chat.
Yeah, I was gonna say while you're doing that, if folks are in the Discord and want to brainstorm names and domains, you should definitely drop in a corner of the Discord. So funny, I don't think there's a ton of channels, but I don't want to put more work on the team. But it'd be cool to have a brainstorming section where people can jam on some ideas on how to like name their projects. 'Cause that's an important part, and that'd be super helpful.
Ooh, that's good. I like that. I like that. Yeah, I'll consult with our Discord members here. Amazing.
Yeah, it's a perfect opportunity for those who claim domains fast. I can make money off of it. So
yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Be sure to join the Discord, regardless of, it's just, we have a spot where you can meet potential team members. We'll have updates on live streams. We have mentors in there. So definitely go join the Discord, regardless of your needs for the hackathon. Awesome. Cool. Well, I think that's what we have time for. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining. Like I said, we'll be having live streams throughout the week. So if you go to river.2.bolt, you can find all of our live streams. Let me just get that link too. Yes, other events. This link here will take you to all of our live streams as well as in-person events. So be sure to check that out. Find one in your area. You can also apply to host. So if you don't see one near you, you can apply to create one near you. Awesome. All right. Thanks so much, everyone. See you next time.